Welcome back, guys, to the Sports Ethics Podcast. As you can tell, not using Dylan right now because I'm still working on setting up my office. So I decided to tag in James, crossing over from the 1v1, and we're going over so far how we think the teams went in a free agency, like their most positive pickup, most negative pickup. So, James, how are you today, man?
I'm doing good, Mike. Just happy to be here. Happy to talk some sports. It's what I love and ready to get after it.
So, we're going to start with our division,
All right.
and we're going to go Buffalo.
Okay.
Guess I'll go first. Personally, me, I thought their best signing out of because they really didn't do that many. I mean, like they had a decent little chunk, but like it wasn't like any like big like oh shit oh meter.
Yeah, there were a lot of teams that didn't really make a lot of moves.
But I'm going with them signing Emmanuel Sanders for that 1 year deal. Give a little bit more of a veteran presence on that wide receiver core. Give Josh Allen another weapon. My negative, and you know exactly where I'm going with this one more than likely. Their atrocious signing of a backup quarterback in. Like I'm pretty sure you could have gone anywhere else with that, and it probably would have been better.
I don't know. I don't really. I like Trubisky. I really do. But
I don't. What's your view on the Bills?
So my best signing that I had was them re-signing Matt Milano. He's the core of that defense. He's who they built that defense around. Bringing him back for I think it's a 4-year deal. That was the best possible move they could have done. My worst move is they brought in running back Taewon Jones, which is just a waste of fucking cap space. It's just they have Devin Singletary, they have Zach Moss. Josh Allen's basically another running back. They don't need to bring in another running back like that. Not at this point. Thank you, Braxton. And so yeah, that's where I stand with the Bills.
All right, so Miami. Best signing for me for them. Actually, I'm going with another wide receiver, but obviously this is a bigger name than Emmanuel Sanders. But that Will Fuller pickup definitely adds to. I put patchwork receiver core in my notes, but like it's not that bad if that makes sense.
It's not bad. It's a good if he stays healthy, it's a great pickup. That's the only reason I didn't put that as mine.
But what I'm saying is it adds another piece to their kind of patchwork receiving core from last year. Like it definitely had its shining moments, but it's not like you can guarantee that whoever their quarterback is, as announced Tua, obviously, but is going to be able to throw for like 250 and a couple TDs because somebody's bound to drop stupid balls on that defense, on that offense. Now this one, you know exactly where I'm
going. It's probably the exact same as mine.
With their stupidest pickup. Oh wait, hold on. I did miss a honorable mention. They did start buffing up that O-line some and getting Matt Sukra in there.
Yep.
So that team did have an honorable mention, but that negative is Isaiah Wilson not even making it to OTAs.
No, God, no.
But like, it's only negative because like that just already messes up that locker room. Like they didn't really lose money. It was like a 1-for-1 kind of deal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But that still has to kill the locker room a little. So who's your? So I'm assuming that's your negative. So what's your positive for Miami?
My best was Matt Skura coming in, so like solidifying that O line.
All right, so we're gonna save New England for last in the East. So we're gonna jump to the Jets real quick. I feel like what I thought was there's really no like positives or negatives for this Jets team.
It depends. It depends what direction they want to go in.
Because like you know how I listen to a lot of like the fantasy football podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
They pretty much went out and signed like a bunch of teams like second and third wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And like the only like huge one was and like the Corey Davis deal wasn't even that big either. But like it just adds a lot of question marks. Like how are they going to order a bunch of these wide receivers who are used to being like not the number one option?
Right.
So personally, and then like that's really not even like negative either. I personally think that they my real negative, I did kind of have that they overpaid for Corey Davis. Not much, but like I personally feel like they overpaid. Not overpaid overall the contract, but guaranteed money wise for Carl Lawson, it's a negative for me at $30 million guaranteed.
Yeah, he could make good on it, but yeah, it's so I actually had their best deal as Corey Davis. They probably overpaid, but I saw that as them investing in Sam Darnold and giving him a true. I think Corey Davis is the number one option. I just don't think they used him the right way in Tennessee. When he was in college, he was disgusting as a
I mean,
number
it's
one
kind of hard
receiver.
to have Brown as well.
Right. Yeah, they didn't do him any favors by drafting AJ Brown, and they ran a lot. They're a rushing offense, so they were not built for a true number one wide receiver.
No.
I mean,
So,
if you
like
look
I
at
said,
all of AJ Brown's like stats, they come off of slants that he just breaks for fucking 80 yards.
yeah, so like I said, Corey Davis could end up being top 15 wide receiver because he's the number
Right,
one
100%.
receiver.
Yeah, and the worst deal I had for the Jets was Vinny Curry. I think they overpaid for an aging D lineman. That just he's never really he's more of a run stuffer than a sack than he's gonna put pressure on QB.
So now he is having a ball and a half back there.
Yeah, he's
So New England. Now we're going to our lengthy list of signings. Not quite as big as Jacksonville, but we definitely spent a lot more money. So I have. It's kind of a. I really couldn't pick one. So positives. Obviously, we signed 2 tight ends in Johnny Wayne, Henry. Left up that O-line, get David Andrews and Trent Brown. They even ended up bringing back that level voice on the defense in Benoit, which is honestly, I honestly just put him as my favorite and positive because Benoit is a goat when it comes to keeping that defense from getting too out of whack. My negative is obviously let me say we did blow a boatload of money. My biggest glaring negative is that Nelson Aguilar deal. 2-year, $26 million.
Thank God
For Aguilar.
That is the exact same. I think they probably could have gotten Aguilar for a lot cheaper, but they just. I
think his and as much as I don't want to say it, his deal and like the Hunter Henry deal, I kind of feel like we overpaid for Hunter.
Yeah, probably, but we'll see how it works out. If he stays healthy, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My best was Jonnu Smith. He's just a perfect fit. It's exactly what the Patriots need. An all-around tight end. You're okay. And then honorable mentions, trading for Trent Brown. That's something huge. And then getting Kyle Van Noy back. That's just a huge locker room presence. They're building back that leadership and just that locker room from their last world championship. And that's exactly what they need to get to.
So now we're jumping to the AFC North. Baltimore Ravens, positive signings, because obviously, I'm assuming you saw that they like struck out on Juju.
Mm-hmm.
They struck out on Kenny Galladay.
Yep.
So I mean, at least, and this is a far stretch for positive signings for their wide receiver. At least they got Sammy Watkins for $6 million.
Yeah, I hadn't redone my notes, so
So pretty much, they gave him an improved thyself deal. Not saying that Sammy Watkins isn't good. They also injected Kevin Zeitler into that O-line.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest negative, it's really not a negative pick for them, but I feel like now they're kind of starting to realize their negative is how run heavy and Lamar run heavy they are. Because Juju took less money going back to Pittsburgh. Because a lot of these people knew that they were going to have to take like 1-year deals just to get through this Rona season. And you can't go somewhere where the pie is that small. Like Juju stays in Pittsburgh and they're sharing like the big like chocolate and cream pies.
Yeah.
That's the pie that like, Juju gets a piece of in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh
He
is
go
so bad at managing their money. They're
he goes
so
to
bad.
he goes to the Ravens and he's sharing one of the single serving boxes of that pie
Yeah,
with the
it's
wide receiver room. So he was like, so I view it as he was like, F it, I guess we're taking the less money, um, but it'll help next year because he only signed what like a 1 year deal, I think.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So he only signed like a 1 year deal for Pittsburgh. So as long as he has decent production, then bada bing bada boom, he can probably go somewhere with a better deal. So what's your positives and negatives for
So
both?
yeah, that Kevin Ziegler was definitely my best pickup because that's another great offensive lineman, and Baltimore Ravens. Name a better duo. It just you can't do it. So
Yeah.
and then for me, yeah, not getting a top tier wide receiver. Yeah, you get Sammy Watkins, which at times has been
Yeah.
borderline elite, but he can't
But the
stay
thing
healthy.
is, with
Cannot stay
Sammy,
healthy.
he's more of a burner anyways.
Right. He's not going to be your. He's not going to. You need a first down. You throw to him. That's not going to be him.
Yeah, no, he's the like we can even go back to him in Kansas City. Yeah, Tyreek's faster than him, but most teams
Tyree can catch everything.
but most people put their fastest and like stone hand corners and safeties on Tyreek, leaving, Sammy on like the third option corner, which
Right.
9 times out of 10, Sammy can burn that third corner on a team.
Oh yeah.
But thinking Sammy might end up having to be their first or second option. Not saying he's worth their first or second option. But now you got to think, you put him up against, let's say, we're going to say when they play not Baltimore, when they play Pittsburgh, can Sammy Watkins outmuscle Minka
No shot. No shot. He's not burning fucking Joe Hayden either.
Yeah, so like that just kind of goes downhill right there. Cincinnati. I'm definitely gonna butcher this guy's name, but it's okay. Positive is them because I've always had the issue. Well, now they also have wide receiver issues, and Cincy kind of.
We can fix that in the draft easy though.
Yeah, but so they've always had that issue in the secondary.
Yep.
And they added you probably know how to say this guy's name better than me, but they added Wazimi.
Chidobe Azua. Yep.
Yeah, for like, I mean, they're only paying him 9.2 year one, $21 million contract. I think it was like a 3 year deal. I think so. Like, and then also an honorable mention they did add Trey Tenderson for like cheap money.
Mhm.
Negative, but like you kind of just touched on it, they can fix that in the draft. They really didn't go out and add any weapons at all.
Right.
Who is supposed to be their franchise quarterback.
Yeah. The thing so the best kind of branching off of that, the best move I had them picking up was Riley Reef. He's basically a cap casualty from Minnesota, but he's a good tackle.
Yeah.
He's solid. He's going to protect Joe Burrow. And then the worst deal I had him was getting Eli Apple, who's just flamed out. And that hurts for me to put down. I love Eli Apple. My boy from Ohio State.
You better watch out. You better watch out because his mom does a podcast. You might want to watch out, dude.
I can't do it with him. He's burned out of everywhere he's been. New York, New Orleans. I wish that he would get it right because I love him. I watched him back at Ohio State. I don't know. I just think they gave him way too much money for what he's measured up in the league so far.
So Cleveland, this is one of those teams like me, and you said no team really doing anything.
I love Cleveland's moves.
The positive. Well, hold on. But the positive is they kept everybody in house.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of re-signings, and they did add John Johnson in the secondary. But like they really didn't shop anybody. Like you didn't even hear rumors. Like I'm talking, you didn't even hear rumors at all that they weren't shopping anybody. So that's sorry. So that's really my only negative. Like I would have liked to hear a little bit of some rumors, as bad as that sounds, of like they were out shopping to kind of see what they could get for some people. Because hey, for all you throw up. I'm just gonna use Odell because why not?
Right.
You could have
See
thrown
what
up
you get.
Odell and got a little bit less of a wide receiver, but like a couple. I'm gonna say first rounds, even though we don't think Odell's worth 80% wide receiver, and like, but I'm gonna say first round picks just for the sake of the argument. Like an 80% wide receiver and like a first and a second. You never know what you could have got. We never saw rumors at all. And let's be honest,
Right.
in the NFL, if there's even a little bit of a smoke to a fire, somebody reports it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my only real negative for them. But their positives are they kept pretty much their whole team from their Cinderella team from last year.
Right.
And they added John Johnson.
Yeah. So John Johnson is definitely my best pick. I can't believe Los Angeles let him go. And my honorable mention for them is Troy Hill coming over too from Los Angeles. He's a big playmaker in that slot corner. Can probably slide over to safety, and that was probably their only weakness was their secondary, and they get two big pickups there. The worst deal I had him signing was they brought in Malik Jackson, and Malik Jackson has just not been it since he left Denver. He signed a huge contract down in Jacksonville, and he literally did absolutely nothing since then. I think it's just a waste of money.
All right, so Pittsburgh, there's really the only positive for them, and I don't even know if it's going to be a positive for them, is them retaining Juju, almost went to Baltimore and a few other teams. I don't know if it's going to be a positive now because let's be honest, and I realized how much of a hypocrite I am the other day. Because remember my comment how, if you could lay off the YouTube, maybe I might want him. You want to know who I realized that I was watching his YouTube video the other day?
Who?
Chase Claypool.
Ah.
But because his is more like he's doing kind of like the old optics, like a day in a life kind of, because he just went back home for a little bit, so he was showing how he had to go to the Pittsburgh building and stuff first, but so I don't know how well that's still gonna clash, because let's be honest, I feel like Pittsburgh and or Big Ben are starting to realize that maybe Juju is really not the number one option on that defense. On that offense.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be starting to turn to a Mapletron show.
Yeah. So I actually had Juju. Yeah. You can go on with your worst pick.
My negative is honestly them just I touched on my first negative, like them even letting Juju hit the free agent market. Like how is that going to deal with the offensive mentality on that team? And then definitely them losing Bud Dupree.
Oof, yeah, that's gonna hurt.
To the Titans. Like, yeah, that defense is stacked. That defense is stacked, but because they had so many big names, we really don't know how much of a presence. Because Dylan, he's a Pittsburgh fan.
Condolences.
But he's even talked about how much Bud doesn't really get that many sacks and stuff, but he's there.
Right.
So we really don't. We will probably start seeing by mid-season how much them not having at least that defense person who's getting their hands at least in the face or pushing back some offensive linemen into their quarterback, how that's going to affect that team. What's your Pittsburgh picks?
So my best deal for Pittsburgh was them bringing back Cam Sutton. He was a pretty good, almost top tier corner last year that a lot of people didn't talk about because that secondary is so overshadowed by Joe Hayden and Minka Fitzpatrick. But he's that lockdown second option. So that way, Pittsburgh's strength is going to be in their defense because you never know what you're going to get from that offense. They could light it up for 45 or they can grenade for fucking 6. So locking down that surefire defense is I think their best move so far. Honestly, I think their worst move is bringing back Juju. That guy I think he's a locker room cancer, at least in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And that he basically forced his way out and then somehow ended up coming back. It shocked me what they brought him back. I did not see that coming at all.
Right. So Houston. Positive for me. Them adding the man, the myth, the legend, and Philip Lindsay. No, like people don't really.
No, I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah, like people, like I honestly didn't even know how, like his stats aren't like I'm gonna say Hall of Fame just for I'm just saying it. His stats aren't Hall of Fame worthy, but as an undrafted running back, he had yet to fumble in his career in Denver.
I think it's a good move.
He had a lot. Most of his I think it said like, well, because like I read the article when they let him go because Melvin Gordon's court case amounted to nothing, so they told Philip Lindsay to pack his bags.
He's a fucking trash can too.
But I think it's like back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons his first 2 seasons. Hasn't fumbled, so like that definitely helps begin the possible rebuild. And this goes to my negative. And then they also filled a decent amount of holes on where they needed stuff.
Yep, yeah, I guess so.
And this next one is kind of hindsight for my negative. I think they should have started shopping Deshaun Watson around, and now it's definitely super biting them in the butt.
Yeah, they should have traded him for the whole house.
So, like I said, now obviously a good portion of it's kind of hindsight 2020 on it. But I think that they should have at least taken options because he was honest before the season was over that I'm not coming back.
Yeah, he would have come back if they didn't literally backdoor him the entire process for their GM and it's terrible.
That's my negative. Like they should have started loading up on picks, loading up on something, and just like commit to either the full rebuild or a half rebuild or something instead of this rose-colored glasses. Like, hey, we still got Deshaun Watson. We're golden.
So my best pickup was Mark Ingram, and so the way Mark Ingram works the best is when he's in a 2 running back system. Ever since his days in New Orleans, the best seasons he's ever had is when he's in a 2 running back system, which works great with Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay and somebody else. I think who else?
I don't think it's anybody really. I think David Johnson.
Oh yeah, because
he's getting cut.
Yeah, because I was telling you that he signed that.
He restructured his deal.
Yeah, because he knew he wasn't going to find another job, and they went to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I will restructure, but I want like his contract almost all guaranteed."
Oh, yeah. And then the worst move I had him was trading for Ryan Izzo, a tight end from the Patriots. That's terrible. Why the hell would you actually trade for him? It's god awful, terrible deal.
So the only reason why I see like maybe it might work is, whoever the quarterback is, I'm assuming Deshaun Watson is going to get out of this somehow. At least Deshaun can actually throw a football. And you know exactly where I'm pointing that at. Yours and Jarrett's man and Cam Newton.
I love Cam Newton.
At least Deshaun Watson can throw a football. So maybe
Ryan Izzo can't catch it.
We would barely know because Cam Newton threw maybe 17 times the whole season.
Ryan Izzo couldn't catch the ball when Brady was throwing it to him either.
I just messing with you. So positives, all their resigns. They kept Marlon Mack, Xavier Rhodes.
Is Indy you're talking about?
Yeah, it's Indy now. Yeah. So Marlon Mack, Xavier Rhodes, Ty Hilton, the negative, and you know exactly where I'm going with this. I'm assuming.
Probably.
I get you want a veteran presence at quarterback.
Carson Wentz
is not it.
Nope.
Because I was thinking, I'm like, so Jacoby Brissett went to Miami, right?
Yep.
So who's the backup when Carson Wentz misses his 4 to 8 games every season? Now, if they would have somehow kept Jacoby in-house and got Carson Wentz, okay, I can kind of deal with this trade. Yeah. But I don't even know who the backup's going.
I think it's like Jacob Eason or something like that.
Who?
Jacob Eason. He played at I
Who?
think he played at Georgia and Washington. He's a second-year player.
Yeah.
They drafted him last year. Yeah.
So cool. There he's gonna be out his 4 to 8 games like always, and then your team's
Well, you beat.
there you go. So what's your picks on Colts? I feel like your positives are gonna be kind of like mine, and
Yeah, my positive was Xavier Rhodes. He's good. He's not the same Xavier Rhodes he was 4 years ago, but he's still nasty and a good defender on the outside, and that's what you need. And then obviously,
and showing the Vikings that they should have kept him.
and obviously the worst was Carson Wentz. Get that guy sucks. I'd say to his face.
I really gotta get my haircut. Holy crap. So Jacksonville, a lot like the Texans, but they did a lot better of it. They filled a lot of holes. Yeah, it was a lot of like, I don't want to go tier 3 because a lot of them weren't that bad. Like
There were some decent deals.
Yeah, it was like tier 2 pickup. Or was that? Oh, Jacksonville. And that's on their offense. All of their offensive signings was like little like, hey, let's take a risk here, here, and here.
Yeah, kind of like a Marvin Jones, like
because we're giving Trevor Lawrence at least decent weapons. And with them not overloading that offense, that left a lot of meat on the bone for them to go out and get Griffin and Jenkins as well. So honestly, in my eyes, there's really no negatives to this Jacksonville offseason. Like they could have what's your negative?
Tyson Alualu. That guy is a bust, and he still somehow has a job in Jacksonville. That guy is terrible.
Well, yeah, but like I'm talking like people that they either ended up letting walk or signing. Like cool.
They played good.
There was really no negatives. They pretty much cleaned house the first year because this is Urban Meyer's first year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, his first year he goes out, and I think the last update I saw it was 14 players, and I don't even think they're anywhere near as much as New England spent on our 7.
No, they were smart about it.
Yeah.
And I had their best deal being Shaq Griffin. Like just getting that. When Jacksonville's been successful, it's when they built from the corners. When they were on that playoff run, it was Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye, and now they're building back to that.
Tennessee, because I'm assuming you kind of agree with me. There's really no negatives for the Jacksonville.
Yeah, the negative I have for Jacksonville is letting Jonnu Smith leave. He wasn't
in Jacksonville.
Oh, you said Jacksonville? I thought you said you moved on to Tennessee already.
No, I was about to, but you didn't say if you had a negative or not for Jacksonville.
Yeah, Tyson Alualu. I already went into that.
Oh, okay. So Tennessee positives, beefing up that defense because let's be honest, that defense kind of needs a little bit of help. Like they can hold their own, but it's not like, let's say, Ryan Tannehill. Let's say like
it's where they lost games last year.
Yeah,
their offense was disgusting and their defense cost them. That's what it came down to.
Let's just say Ryan Tannehill. I was about to go extremely the injury, but I'm not going to go there. Ryan Tannehill, like breaks his thumb, like Drew breathed it. Backup has to come in for 8 weeks. Oh well, 6 to 8, whatever.
Yeah.
The defense last year, honestly, I would say, because that defense, that rookie second year, whatever, quarterback is probably not going to put up or help put up the 30-ish points that it seemed like that Titans offense was putting up.
Yep.
So with last year's defense, that defense is not holding a team below 21 for 8 weeks in a row. Half of them, maybe.
The Jets every week.
But them adding Bud Dupree and Brown, that definitely helps them a lot on that defense.
Yep.
Because for all we know, it could have just been a presence. There was really no pass rush presence like at all.
No, they had Jadeveon Clowney, but he didn't do shit.
Yeah, so
you probably didn't even know he was there. Most people didn't even know he was there.
Yeah, so like you had Bud on that defense, maybe they start getting to the quarterback because that's all you really need to do in the NFL now. That
100% pressure on the quarterback. It's the best way to play defense.
Now that a lot of the old dogs are retiring, it's a lot of newer, like less than 4-year quarterbacks in the league. There's 5 from when me and you started watching the NFL still. maybe. A
It might honestly just be, yeah.
A-Rod, Russell
Well,
Wilson.
honestly, yeah, A-Rod wasn't even in the league yet. He was
Yeah.
still behind Brett Favre when I started watching football.
Yeah, but like so Russell Wilson. I'm just gonna put A-Rod in here just for the giggles.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Russell Wilson, Brady,
Tom,
Ben Roethlisberger.
and that's it.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god.
So a lot of them, yeah, there's some that are like in the middle of the pack. But a lot of them are really young quarterbacks now. So
Yep.
you just get to them and they're probably gonna mess up.
Mhm.
So my negatives, yeah, it seemed like they buffed up that defense a little bit. I feel like it was at the sacrifice of losing Jonnu Smith.
Probably. Yep.
Obviously, and my notes are obviously Jonnu wasn't catching for 25 touchdowns this season.
Nope.
But we don't know what kind of help, because like I'll be honest, I catch maybe like 4 games a season and then the playoffs. Because I don't have cable and I'm not gonna pay for it. But I don't know what kind of helping hand he had, blocking, keeping holes open for Hunter Henry, keeping Ryan Tannehill safe in the backfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they did use him a lot in the backfield. They used him for like almost like a fullback. They would hand the ball off to him sometimes. He did a lot for that team.
Yeah, so cool.
And
you buffed your defense, but you lost your tight end.
Yep, that's basically exactly what I wrote. My best is Bud Dupree, probably one of the best pass rushers on the market this year. They go out and get him, but it's at the cost of Jonnu Smith, which is literally the guy that does everything. The guy didn't have a lot of passing stats because he was doing so much in the run game for you, which is why Derrick Henry has been, well, not why, but a good contributing factor of why Derrick Henry has been.
Your mouth, what you say about my Yeti.
I got carries in me fantasy every year.
So now, just know my Denver hot take is a hot take.
Oh
God. So positive, tagging and then later signing Justin Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
My negative, not doing a damn thing on offense to get ready for Justin Fields. Drew Lock.
Justin Fields.
Drew Lock is done.
I believe it.
And I feel like they're going to go after Justin Fields.
I believe it.
But yeah, so as you tell, I didn't even say didn't do anything on offense for Drew Lock. It was they didn't do nothing to get ready for.
I know, baby. I know.
They pretty much did the opposite of what Jacksonville
did. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, you
Yeah.
definitely took my hot take a lot better than I thought you were going to.
I could see it now. I'd like them to give Drew Lock another year, but with the level of quarterbacks in this year's draft, they got us. Oh, yeah. If there's a guy like Justin Fields there at 9, they have to take him. But yeah, the best deal I had was Justin Simmons. He's the leader of that defense outside of Von Miller. He's probably one of the best safeties in the game. He's been playing on the tag for I think 2 years, so finally getting him to that big deal is good. And the worst deal I had him was they brought in running back Mike Boone, which is just pointless because you have Melvin Gordon and you have Royce Freeman. It's kind of the same argument I had for Buffalo. Like there's no need to bring in.
Right.
You're wasting money on an unnecessary addition.
Kansas City Chiefs. All positives for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly behind that 5-year
deal
to Big Joey Joe. And also,
bastard.
Me being the oracle of time I am, pulling Kyle Long out of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
You see how I had to put that in the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
My negative is they let Damian Williams go somewhere. I know I say it later on in one of these. It might have been to the Raiders, I think.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's in one of my notes for one of these teams. But they let Damian Williams walk. As much as I love Clyde, I don't think he's it.
Nah. He flamed out.
Honestly, and it's going to go back to Pittsburgh, and this is literally how my buddy Dylan describes James Conner. He runs scared, and not in like a good scared way. Like there's been running backs in the past who are very agile, and they run them scared, but they can get out fast enough. I don't think Clyde did. So my negative is they really didn't do anything to help that big question mark of the secondary. I'm not in the backfield.
You gotta remember though, they do have Le'Veon Bell there.
Shut up.
They do.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah, my best deal was obviously bringing in Joe Tooney, best guard on the market. Well, you got crucified in the Super Bowl on your offensive line. Yeah, but your offensive line is really what got feasted on. And then the worst deal was they brought back Mike Remmers, who got crucified in that Super Bowl. And he's really not that good because he got crucified in the Panthers Super Bowl.
I'm not gonna lie, I was getting ready to say I don't think you can really count last year, but then you mentioned
right, yeah. So that guy, he just chokes bad, and it's not who you need on your offensive line.
Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not gonna lie, when I was reading my notes, I almost put the Raiders. So positive signings. Kenyon Drake.
Yep.
I think Josh Jacobs is done. I just don't. Well, not really done overall in the NFL. I just don't think he wants to be in Las Vegas.
I can see it.
And also them bringing in my man Yannick for the defense. And I feel like you laughing is he's your negative.
No, he's not.
Oh, the negative I feel is a lot of their moves just don't seem like they're going to work out long term. So I feel like they're just prolonging the rebuild, which has always been Jay Gruden.
Yeah.
He always tries to like tiptoe that line and never just hit the nuke button.
Same thing with their GM, Mike Mayock.
Like, I feel like that's pretty much what they're doing with most of the signings. Like, their signings weren't bad. Like, let's say, I don't know what the Raiders won last year, but I'm going to just give them.
Let's just say 8-8 because that's what they always fucking go.
Well, no, because at 8-8, I don't like these moves. At, let's say 11 and what would that be? 11 and what?
11-5.
11-5. I like these moves.
Yeah, I think so.
To be honest, even at 10-6, anything from 10-6 and up, I like these moves.
Yeah, no, they didn't reach double-digit wins. No,
but if you're sitting at 8-8 year after year after year, these moves don't help at all.
Yeah, I had Kenyon Drake as my best signing. My worst signing I think they brought back Zay Jones, who he just hasn't been anything of what he was drafted to be. He's just
because by the way, if you log into your Gmail that I made for you, just ignore my email. Well, no, because I sent you the link to the free agency page on Facebook, but I'm on my desktop.
Gotcha.
What team were we talking about?
Oakland. Las Vegas. Shit.
I thought you could play that somewhere else, please. Who were you saying? Who were you talking about?
Zay Jones.
Yeah. They brought back Zay Jones.
Yeah. I don't think he did anything at all. Next, can you play somewhere else, please? Thank you, buddy.
Let me jump back to my notes. Okay. Los Angeles Chargers. They're signing of. See, I don't watch a bunch of like outside of our division. I'll catch highlights. So, and this is obviously like an issue with Dylan as well, because he literally, if I send him a text on Sunday, I don't get an answer till Monday, because he literally watches every NFL game he can.
Jesus.
But like, I don't know any big names on their offensive line, but I know Corey.
Yep.
So them signing Corey, that's, because they've already said that Justin Herbert, until he fucks up, is going to be their quarterback of it.
Yep. Yeah, he's great. He's phenomenal.
So they signed Corey to keep him safe. The only negative is, it seemed like they went out to try to make it easier for Justin Herbert. But they did lose Henry, which, to be honest, the Jared Cook deal could end up being a better thing because Jared really doesn't miss games.
Yeah, he misses 3-4 years, but not nearly as many as Hunter Henry. So.
But he's not as explosive as Hunter.
He can be though, which is the weird thing.
Yeah. But that's kind of like a negative, but it's like a lower tier negative. My really big negative is, I get you're beefing up the offense, but you do know there's a defense in the NFL too, right? They didn't do anything on defense, like at all.
No. So yeah, like
Chase
I'm
going to be his backup. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with Corey Lindsey. He's the best center on the market. They went out and got the best center. And my worst, this might be kind of not really a hot take, but they brought back their kicker, Michael Badgley. And
did he miss a lot last year?
He missed a lot last year, like a lot of kicks that he should. Like, and I understand kickers go through phases, but the guy calls himself Money Badger. You can't miss when you give yourself a nickname like that, and it's just you can't do it. I think, and the Chargers have been fucking plagued with bad kickers since the beginning of time, and I think he's gonna call some more games down the stretch.
So Dallas Cowboys. This past season was weird for them. Like they lost Dak, so they had like the revolving door of quarterbacks, but
it's been tough.
But they gave Dak his deal.
Yep.
So he's there for God fucking forever.
Mm-hmm.
Did they overpay him a little?
Probably.
Maybe, but they kept him. And then also them signing Kanu Neal on that defense for cheap.
Mm-hmm. That's a good deal.
Like it was one of those deals that if he ends up burning out, cool. We only tossed them like $7 million. I would love for $7 million being only in my life. That'd be great. But there was really no negative. Like their wide receivers really didn't need help.
No, it's a good roster. It was just injured last year.
Yeah, they just got hit. I feel like because they really didn't have any other major injuries. It was really just a Dak one. But
their linebackers, some of their secondary.
But Dak
Marcus, Marcus Lawrence disappeared last year.
Dak's not just that field general on offense.
No, he's the main guy in the locker room.
Yeah, so losing him, that team just pretty much just hit the eject button and was just done.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm assuming your Dak is yours.
Yep. Yeah, Dak. Say what you will about the guy. He's a above average, I'd say almost elite quarterback. You saw what he did in his first year in the league, and I don't think that's a fluke. I think he's a very good quality starter, and that's hard to find at the quarterback position. So if you got that, you lock that shit up.
Hey, in the NFC East, you can be a barely above average quarterback. You're making playoffs.
Right. Exactly. But the worst deal I had, they brought back Jordan Lewis, who just gets cooked year after year and somehow still keeps coming back.
Jordan
Lewis, yeah.
So New York Giants. This is, and I'm calling it right now. This is the Daniel Jones prove thyself year.
Yep.
They went out and threw bans. Okay, kind of bans. Okay, they gave Kenny bans. I think.
But still, that's a game-changing wide receiver right there.
But they threw the whole bag at Kenny. They threw half a bag at Kyle Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave John Ross whatever it was.
John Ross could be nasty, though.
Well, yeah. With Kenny over to John Ross, I play Madden. You know that. John Ross has wheels. He is honestly, this is going to be a hot take, maybe. In my eyes, John Ross might be one of the fastest wide receivers.
I believe it.
He's on a team that he doesn't get double covered.
You saw him at the beginning of last year. He was starting to put it together, and then he got hurt.
Yeah. So you have Kenny Galladay there. You have Kyle Rudolph and Ingram.
Pretty sure you still have Sterling Shepard there, too.
Yeah. John Ross is not getting double covered.
No, he's going to burn. He's going to burn your third corner.
So literally, if Daniel Jones has to prove it this year, or either he's getting benched or he's gone by week 8. Wait, I think week 8's the trade deadline.
Somewhere
we don't know now that now there's 17 games.
They might push it back a week.
So on the defense, they even tagged and signed Williams,
Mhm.
and they added a Dory Jackson.
Yep.
So like I honestly didn't see any negatives. I feel like he's going to push the button to speed up the is Daniel Jones going to be our quarterback thing, which I like.
Yep.
Most teams kind of tiptoe it, give them like their full rookie deal, and then after what is it, 4 years?
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 years.
After 5 years, then they realize, oh,
If
fuck.
they pick up their 5th-year option, they're going to keep him. If they don't, they're going to cut him.
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck. So after 5 years, we realize this man's not our quarterback. This is what, year 2? Year 3? 3, yeah, year 3. They're literally saying, Daniel Jones, we're pretty much handing you a playoff team in the NFC East.
Yep. Yeah.
In the East. We're pretty much handing you a playoff team. If we don't make it to the playoffs, you might be gone.
Right.
Yeah. So what's your views on the Giants?
Kenny Galladay, my best, and letting for the worst move, just letting Kevin Zeitler leave. I know that's a good offensive lineman. You probably could have spent the money to keep him, but so be it.
Philadelphia. The only things worth mentioning, positive. Actually, they're both positive, but there wasn't much noise out of the Philadelphia Eagles this year, like at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really
Anthony
a lot.
Terrace for cheap.
Yep.
Like for dirt cheap, and they got rid of Carson Wentz. So let's go, baby. It's her season.
Yep. I'd say yeah. Their best deal is Anthony Harris, and honestly, I think they just wasted money picking up Joe Flacco, but that's just me.
But I feel like that's their oh shit moment.
Right. They really didn't make a bad deal, I guess.
Yeah, no, because like if Hurst gets hurt, I'm fine with Joe Flacco going in.
Right. Yeah. So
I mean, at this point now, if we had like the younger version of Joe Flacco, you have like an 85% chance he's winning that. You also got to think they play the NFC East teams twice a season.
It's true.
He's winning most of those games.
Yeah.
The Washington football team, the positive is them signing the tandem, and yes, I'm saying signing Curtis Samuel.
Yep.
With a small bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also signed Ryan Fitzmagic for only $10 million.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad.
To either take over this year or help mentor Heineke. Because they know that Ryan doesn't have like a boatload of years left.
No. But
honorable mention is they also added Jackson the third second year.
Mm-hmm. William Jackson.
Yeah.
Corner. Yeah.
Let's be honest. That defensive line does not need any help anytime.
God, no.
It is a Chase Young show, and I'm here for it.
All about it. Yeah, my best deal was Curtis Samuel. My worst deal was bringing in Lamar Miller. Honestly, Lamar Miller, he's never stayed healthy. He's honestly washed up. I think it's just a waste of money.
The only reason why I'm kind of okay with the Lamar Miller deal is who's their running back right now?
Antonio Gibson. Nasty.
Yeah. If they throw him in for like one down because Gibson needs a breather, all right, cool.
That's what they have J.D. McKissick for.
But like sometimes they put him out as a wideout. So what if that's how they have the formation and then Gibson, puts up the hands like, yo, I need a breather because he played almost the whole game.
He was disgusting all year.
So if he needs that breather, even if you just put Lamar Miller in the backfield just to block.
Yeah, it's fair.
All right, cool.
He'll tear his ACL, but he'll block.
All right, cool. It's whatever. And he's on the bench and you don't have to worry about it. The Bears. This one, I hate the Bears signings this year. They got Damian Williams, which is kind of positive. They re-signed Mario Edwards to keep that kind of force on defense. I know he's tandemed with I can never remember his name.
Khalil Mack.
Him, and then there's somebody else I thought they had.
They did have Leonard Floyd, but they traded him to LA.
I thought they had another defensive lineman who's like hilarious on light dumps, but I can't remember who it is. But the negatives for this offseason just outweighs it. Like, I think you either have the same error at quarterback or you even went backwards signing Andy Dalton. Yeah, they signed a lot of veterans, which helps because let's be honest, nowadays most of the veterans in the NFL they don't really cause issues. They come to work, they go home.
Yeah. Now the other thing you have to factor in with the Bears too is they're going to be getting Tariq Cohen back.
Yeah.
Who they lost him early in the season, which sucks. But my best deal for them was they brought back Cairo Santos, their kicker, which for years the Bears had been choked with kickers. But he was rock solid. I'm pretty sure he made the Pro Bowl as a kicker.
I'm sorry. I just laugh when you say your biggest positive for a team is a kicker.
It's a playoff roster last year. They really didn't need to do much. And their worst deal was Jermaine Ifedi. He's an offensive lineman who literally couldn't even make it on the Seahawks offensive line.
You're telling me Andy Dalton is not worse?
No, then Mr. Trubisky. I don't think Andy Dalton's that bad. I really don't.
I just view it as because he had a year in Cincy with all the weapons, right?
More or less, yeah. Cincy's always, their team's always got hurt though.
So I just don't think he's gonna do anything in Chicago.
I think he keeps them in the playoffs. I honestly do.
I don't think they do. In the NFC North, I don't actually. To be honest, in the NFC, I don't see them making the playoffs.
I'd write him in for the 7th spot.
So Detroit, they traded away Stafford for Goff, which is also a negative for me because we haven't seen the actually I'll get to the negatives here in a second. But they also got first round pick for 2022, first round pick for 2023, which could be huge down the road.
Yep.
They got a running back in Jamal Williams. The negatives kind of outweigh because I haven't seen a Goff deal. I don't know if they actually just took over that monster contract.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so that's a negative. That's a lot of money.
I think there's only like 2 or 3 years left on it though.
Yeah, but I think if I remember correctly, the last 2 years were the bigger years of that contract.
Really?
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
It's like backwards.
Yeah, but you got to think he was with the Rams.
It's true.
And also the other negative is they weren't able to retain Kenny Galladay. Which would have been a huge bump for that team. But now, like, we don't even know who the second option is going to be on that team, let alone the first.
Yeah, they have to go to the draft. They have to.
So like cool, you got Stafford and you got Jamal Williams. Are you going to turn into the Tennessee Titans?
We'll see.
I doubt it because at least Ryan Tannehill, he has the ice when he has to like throw that 3rd and 8. First.
Goff is gonna fucking throw it at his feet.
Yeah. So I just don't see them being able to play like.
No, their best deal I had him was bringing back their own pass rusher, Romeo Ocaro. I'm pretty sure I don't know much about the Lions, but I'm assuming he's one of the leaders of their locker room. So bringing him back is a good deal.
With what that team looks like.
Right.
Okay, so I'm looking on the page, right? Signings at wide receiver. They brought in Perryman, Tyrell Williams.
If they're both healthy, they're all right.
But do you put either one of those at number 1 on your wide receivers?
No shot.
Yeah.
Tyrell Williams has always been that fucking deep threat anyway.
Yeah, that was the point I was getting back to your point.
Kind of the same thing with Perryman too. Back in his old Baltimore days.
So what's your negative?
My negative is they let Matt Prater leave and they signed Randy Bullock. It's just Matt Prater is good.
Oh yeah,
and I don't see how you let him leave. Honestly,
I think I used him in my bench league. I think. Dude, I'm still kind of mad that I won my. I had no shot. Not a one. The only negative, but it's also their positive, is the whole Aaron Jones thing. I feel like they couldn't even let him hit the mark.
No.
Because if I'm Aaron Jones, this is gonna sound, and this is where most running backs, divas, and egos begin to show up. You're telling me you let me hit the market when you could have tagged me, but you tagged an offensive line.
I know, buddy.
Right? Right?
Yeah,
They tagged their offensive lineman, didn't they?
I don't think they tagged anybody.
I thought they tagged somebody. I could be wrong. You could be right. But either way, you didn't tag Aaron Jones. If I'm him, I'm upset. Yeah, I think he got more money, obviously, but still, it's like,
Yeah, I don't know. For me, their best move was Aaron Jones, and then their worst move was they brought back Kevin King, who cost them so many games. Every game that they lost, or every crucial moment in the games that they lost, Kevin King was the closest defender, and just got cooked.
Speaking of cooked, now we're going to the Minnesota Vikings. So, this team, honestly, out of all 32 teams in the NFL, the Vikings just confuse me on paper.
Always.
They have this superstar offense, which week after week they put it up behind Dalvin Cook and now the rookie sensation Jefferson. Obviously, Thielen has his part in that. Yada. But this defense, maybe last year was the first year that they didn't look like at least a top 20, possibly top 15 defense. But with that being said, most seasons they look like they're going to be at least a top 20 defense, which can win you games if you have a superstar offense. But it just seems like they
It just depends. It depends what Kirk Cousins you get.
Yeah, it just seems like that defense can never get it done. So, but they did add Patrick Peterson for that secondary.
Yep.
Which should help with. So if there's really no, I guess that would be the only positive side. There really wasn't no negatives. I mean, they let. That's where Anthony Harris was, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what my negative was.
If I had to pick a negative, was letting Anthony Harris go.
Yep. Same with me. And then my best deal was Patrick Peterson. That's a good. I can't believe Arizona cut him, but so be it.
I think he's kind of like a who was the person you mentioned earlier who was a salary cap character. Oh, Riley Reef.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's what Patrick Peterson ended up being because they wanted to make the room for J.J. Watt. And
could have been.
And so they were like, "Look, like we love you, Pat, but like you've got to pack your bags."
I wish he would have played his whole career in Arizona, honestly, but
yeah,
so be it.
But that wasn't him picking. That's why.
It wasn't his choice. Wasn't his choice.
If it would have been him picking, like, all right, so I'm out of here, then I'm like, wow, bro, you don't want to finish your career with cards.
Yeah.
But so Atlanta, if you want, we can just skip over Atlanta.
I mean, yeah.
They really
just
didn't do anything.
Quickly hit through it.
I'm sitting here, Mike Davis, Lee Smith, Copeland, Eric Harris. There's really I literally
my best pick was Mike Smith. My worst was Lee Smith. Yeah. Who the fuck is that guy?
I ended up just saying it's just them stalemate.
I do like the Mike Davis deal
though. Panthers Positives, they added a tandem. Obviously, yes, both of them are on the left side, but adding Perriman and Reddick on that defense, I think is huge.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what defense that they play, because obviously I'm not a defensive coordinator. For all you know, they might have some formations that they technically need two people on the left side. Can you imagine Perriman and Reddick coming at you off the left? Biggest negative, without a doubt, they didn't steal the Curtis Samuel Boyd like at all.
Yeah, I don't even think they wanted to resign him.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No.
So what's your Carolina Panthers?
My best deal for them was bringing in F-line on their offensive line. He's a good guard, another cap casualty from Minnesota, I believe. And their worst deal was bringing in guard Cam Irvin, who I think they just overloaded on guards, and he's not really where it needs to be.
The Saints, positive. They're staying fluid in that quarterback room. And
Yeah.
Sean Payton even came out and said, like, it might be a full-blown warfare this offseason.
Yep.
Because they signed Winston and Hill to, like, bare minimum deals, even though that Hill deal looked a lot bigger than it really was. And they even said that they might draft somebody, too.
Yeah. No, my
So,
best
like,
deal for.
I'm happy that Sean Payton didn't just automatically pick somebody already. With that being said, their negative is, like, I don't know who's going to be that offensive voice or and now that Drew Brees is gone. Is Alvin Kamara going to finally step up and fill the void? Because Alvin's good. But the thing is, he's been able to just focus on running.
Right. He's most dangerous as a receiver.
Yeah, but can he step up as that voice on that defense, on that offense?
Yeah, we'll see. I think the best deal it was Jameis Winston. I'm a big Jameis Winston guy.
Yeah,
I think he's just gotten the short end of the stick a lot. But the worst deal I had for them was bringing in Nick Vannett. Braxton. He's Nick Vannett's not really what you need at that tight end spot, especially when you let Jared Cook leave and you replace him with Nick Vannett. That's downgrade.
So I'm gonna cover Tampa for the both. I'm gonna literally read what I have. If I'm wrong, you can tell me. Okay. Because I feel like me and you are on the same page. Simply, they got ready for Tampa Bay season 2.
Yep.
They re-signed everybody. They knew that they probably would have a little money because of Rona. They were gonna have, and I think Bruce Arians even came out and told Godwin, it's not that we don't want to get a big deal for you, we just can't this season.
Mm-hmm.
So they tagged him to keep him. And they really didn't have, and after seeing all of this money, they didn't really have anywhere that they could improve.
Yeah, no. They brought back every single starter from the Super Bowl roster. They did everything they needed to do.
Yeah,
just
so
a
they
single
didn't.
one. Yeah.
So they didn't try to get cute with it or anything. Which I like. They just got down and dirty, re-signed everybody that they got, and I'm assuming that Bruce Arians was signing some of these checks while he's getting tattoos.
No. The only negative I have was not signing Chris Godwin to an extension, but that'll come with time. They tagged him. They have time.
So NFC West, Arizona Cardinals, biggest positive that J.J. Watt signed. Because now I believe they possibly have a 3-headed monster on defense, I think. So they have somebody coming off of an injury.
Chandler Jones.
Yeah, and I don't know if they ended up making a deal with that other person. Or was that Reddick? Okay,
Yeah. They have 3 pass rushers.
Yeah, okay, cool. So they have at least a 2-headed giant in Jones and J.J. Watt, which can win you games.
Right, yeah,
honorable mention, they bumped that O-line.
Yep.
Leading the charge, because they signed a lot of offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But they led the charge with that Rodney Hudson deal.
Yeah, that was my best pick right there.
My negative, and this is going to be a hot take, I'm assuming. Are you okay with paying AJ Green $6 million to sit on the bench with Turf Tip?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Like, yeah, I get it's only a $6 million deal, but what version of AJ Green are they going to get? Is it going to be a version?
You're only going to get 4 games out of him.
Or is it going to be one of the, what is it, like year 1 and 2 he had a good year, or was it year 1 and 3?
I think it was like year 1 through 3, and then you start getting hurt.
Yeah, okay, cool. So do you get years 1, 2, and 3, which definitely complement D-Hop, obviously.
Right. Yeah,
or do you get the one where you're paying them $6 million to sit on the bench?
Yeah, We'll see.
If there's anything you need to add to the Arizona Cardinal one or no?
Nope, that's exactly.
Rams. Biggest move in a free agency, or before free agency, or setting off in free agency. Is their trade with the Lions from Stafford to unload Goff's huge contract?
Yeah.
My only negative is the guaranteed money in Ingram deal. I think because I think it's hold on. Let me jump to the page real quick. I'm on what the Rams.
Yep.
Rams. Okay, so it's a 4-year, $64 million. I'm fine with that. 4 years, 64. But being guaranteed 32.5 literally as he signs the contract, because that's literally year one guaranteed money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Like, I don't think I'm okay with that. What's your positives and negatives on the Rams?
My positive, I was just bringing in Matt Stafford. It's a huge upgrade over Jared Goff. It's a veteran leadership. It puts Matt Stafford. I'm a big Matt Stafford fan. Just gives him a chance to succeed. And then my worst was they let probably two of their big playmakers on defense, Troy Hill and John Johnson, leave.
Right.
So they probably just didn't have money.
San Francisco played with injuries last year. It was hard to see what they needed. So it's really hard to see any negatives in their signings, if that makes sense, or their lack of signings. Because when you didn't have a whole healthy team after what, week 5? Oh, was it like after week 5? It seemed like there was at least somebody injured every week.
Yeah, they started out like 3-0 and then they flamed just because they got.
So, but they're
hurt.
positive. They signed my man Juice.
Yep.
To a 5-year, $27 million. So that's not that much money.
No, he's a great guy for them.
I'm assuming it's like a $2 million signing bonus. I'm assuming. So you're paying them $5 million a year. I can deal with that. They also had a lot of re-signings, so it shows that the team wants to bounce it back, and so that the injuries was the reason why they sucked. And then also the 2-year, $138 million and 6 pennies. Richard Williams.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Tackle. Offensive tackle, offensive lineman, offensive guard, whatever the hell he is.
He's a tackle. Left tackle. Most important position in football.
But to make him the highest paid one of all time.
Yep.
I like it.
I like it too. Yeah. My best deal for them was Kyle Juszczyk. He's they like to be a running team, and he's their driving force in the running game. He's a great locker room guy.
You want to know how I view you?
So
is a Delvin, like our former Delvin, but on crack.
Yep. Yeah, he's nasty.
Because James really didn't run at all.
Nope.
But he blocked
catch
like
them 1-yard screens.
Yeah. But Juice blocks almost as good as James Delvin did, but he can take off.
Oh yeah, he's a monster. And my worst deal for them is just not bringing back Richard Sherman, who's a great locker room guy and I think still an elite quarterback.
I honestly think that was him. Because you guys
might be. It very well could be.
Because you guys think he doesn't use an agent. Yeah, no, that deal when he first got his deal after his ACL, that was him working out those conditions. All of those incentives was things he picked. So he knew he was going to make it to the Pro Bowl a year after rupturing his Achilles.
Richard Sherman's just a rare breed. That's a guy you want on your team, honestly. Yeah. That's why I put it on there. But
Seattle, really? Only full positive, bringing back Chris Carson. They have some kind of positives, like they seem like they tried to help that offensive line. But let's see, after Tooney went to the Chiefs, Hudson went to
Arizona.
Thank you. We got who did we get? We got something.
We got Trent Williams.
Yeah, we got Williams. San Francisco made their big deal. There was really no superstar offensive lineman left. So it looked like Seattle kind of did what they could to kind of at least show Russell look for it.
Yeah. Now, I think the best thing that they did was they got Gerald Everett, who's a vertical threat at the tight end position. Catches everything. Good blocker. I like that pick a lot for them. And then the worst deal for me was Gabe Jackson, who's another one of those guys that had a great couple years in Denver. signed a huge contract in Jacksonville, and then just haven't done anything since.
And then just fizzled.
Yep.
Alright, so that's us going over all.
I'm excited for the draft, though.
Yeah, dude, I feel like I'm ready for the draft. I think before the draft, because that's what, like mid next month.
Mid-April, I think. And April, maybe. I can't
I
remember.
might try to get you on one on us before the draft, thinking what these teams are going to go record-wise.
Word.
So until the next episode will be probably the games again. Maybe Dylan, because if I can get this all completely done between now and then. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until the next one.